First, I'd like to thank Ashton Lewis for sending me this story right here coming from the Atlanta Black Star. This man's name is Officer Robert Shellhorn, and his name should be Officer Robert Shithole for the comments that he made. So this man was recently suspended for a total of 80 hours, just 80 hours. We're talking, a week. And the reason he was suspended is because he called black athletes useless savages. That's right. He called them useless savages. No surprise there, no surprise there at all. But as I continued to read through the article, I got to the root as to why he said what he said. So he's out of Florida. Yes, ratchet ass Florida, as Lovely T would say. And the reason why he said black athletes are useless savages is because apparently there's been an influx, well, in his eyes, an influx of his fellow officers being gunned down during, their post, during their time on duty. And he is upset because the black athletes who did participate with Colin Kaepernick during the kneeling of the national anthem, protesting police brutality, he's mad at that. So let me get this straight. He apparently knows that these police officers are engaging in police brutality, and some of them, based on how he talks right here, most likely are out of his department that he works with, engage in such activity, and he's mad at that. He calls them useless savages. You dummy, you just proved their point. And the fact that you even said that, and now knowing what I know, lets me know that you probably engage in the same activity in which these athletes were protesting. Sometimes it's just better to keep quiet. But these racists cannot help themselves when they open their mouths. They say he went on a full-blown Facebook rant. And that's how they found out, and they only suspended him for 80 hours a week. And he begged and tried to argue it down to get him down to 16 hours, which I'm guessing is the minimum. 16 hours, that's what? Pretty much a whole day, minus a few hours. And then he tried to come back and say, it was emotional buildup. Are you kidding me? That wasn't no emotional buildup. That what was always on your mind. Shoot, he probably typed that thing out a few times and saved it somewhere and then added more stuff to it and was just ready for the day when it actually happened. Look, protesting police brutality, that's something that actually should have been happened. But the thing is, we know people like you are not going to do anything about it, because that means you'd have to put your job on the line. Because whenever police brutality is called out, you never do anything to stop it from continuing. We see what happened with these black cops in PG County, 13 of them, by the way, who are black or non-white, who decided to call out police brutality. Same thing with the cops in the NYPD. And they get pretty much cut off. They get blackballed from the blue wall of silence. That's why I always thought that the police departments, for the most part, a lot of them operate like a gang. Blue wall of silence. Then you have the, what's the name of that thing? The Fraternal Order of the Police. That sounds like a gang to me. They operate under the no stitching policy more than the Blood and Crips, MS-13, or any other gang in America could ever do. As a matter of fact, the police are probably, in my opinion, some of the oldest gangs in the U.S. They started out as a slave patrol, slave catchers. Wore that gold star. That was their original operation strategy, was to catch runaway slaves. But yeah, that's what he said, and he's trying to argue down why he shouldn't be suspended for that long. It's only a damn week. You're lucky you didn't get fired. But then again, they weren't going to fire him. I've actually never seen it where they said that you're only suspended for 80 hours. He's asking for a lighter suspension. They said he expressed remorse for his actions and admitted to using unbelievable, hateful language. Oh, it's not unbelievable that you used it. It's not surprising you're expressing so-called remorse either. You're not remorseful. You are feeling like this or saying that because your post went viral. Some of these idiots don't realize we live in the social media age. Whatever is put out there on the internet is out there forever, especially thanks to screen capture. When people can just screen capture whatever you say and then put it out there, and if they have a large enough following, then that's how it goes viral. Enough shares, and there you go. It says, in a series of comments, the officer condemned black athletes as overpaid thugs and asked what exactly are the black rights that these useless savages are standing up for, in reference to the players who knelt in protest during the anthem. Do black folks somehow have different or greater rights than everyone else? There you go with that whole thing. He basically, what he tried to do in that entire sentence is saying that black people should not be complaining. We live in the greatest country in the world. We have nothing to worry about. We're treated equal like everybody else. I actually got into it slightly with somebody on Instagram when they were talking about this, and they had the nerve to actually listen to people like Ben Shapiro, who was peddling some of the same things this guy was just saying. But you know, Ben Shapiro, he goes way off the rails. I said, first off, you shouldn't be listening to someone like Ben Shapiro, because he peddles stuff that has been known to be said by these white supremacists and people over on Fox News on a daily basis. But basically, he was saying we should be grateful. You know, like a lot of them racist people love to say black people should be grateful for this and grateful for that. Basically, we should be grateful for the abuse we are dealing with. He said, so black people feel like they got greater rights than anybody else. Well, in this establishment, black people don't really have that many rights. Hell, we barely get a right to just privacy or to be left alone, because hell, we're constantly having the cops called on us for obscene things. Well, not obscene things, but for the smallest of things. We can't even get our own privacy or right to be left alone. So what rights do we really have? They feel that whatever rights they have, everyone else has. They feel that because they do something, everyone else should do the same thing. Let me be clear here. Most of you got what you got because your ancestors were some goddamn savages. Now, if you want to talk about savages and savagery, Mr. Shitstorm, Shithole, look no further than your ancestors, because they were the main savages of not only this establishment, but of this globe, of this galaxy. I'm sure it's beings on other planets right now that aren't as savage as you. But that's all I really have to say about this. This guy is talking out of the side of his neck and out of the crack of his ass with this. Enjoy the rest of your suspension, and I'm sure they're going to let you back in and you're going to continue doing whatever it is that you do. But like I said, will keep an eye on this one. The fact that he wrote what he wrote lets you know his trigger finger is getting ready to pull at that trigger any moment, and his target is on the quote unquote useless savages. But y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. The links will be in the description. I'll talk to you in the next one.